The Abyssal Crusade is one of the greatest crusades embarked on by Space Marine chapters. It's also one of the most disastrous events to happen to the Imperium of Man. 30 Space Marine chapters launched a penance crusade into the Eye of Terror to reclaim lost worlds, but in that madness there was only death and despair. The crusade was commanded by a Saint Basilius, who rose to great power and influence in the Ecclesiarchy. He ordered 30 Space Marine chapters, who he said lacked faith in the Emperor, into a penance crusade into the Eye of Terror to prove their worth. This crusade would be known as the Abyssal Crusade. Little did they know that Saint Basilius was false and in fact an apostle of chaos, working against the Imperium. Please be aware that there is no numbers attached on how many Marines per chapter attended. We just have to go off the guidelines that every chapter was at full strength. So I'm personally going to put it out that there was 30,000 Space Marines that went on the Abyssal Crusade, as each chapter was on a penance crusade, so they had to go with their full force of Marines into the Eye of Terror. The following chapters that took part in the Abyssal Crusade are as follows: the Lectors of Ixis, the Knights Excelsior, the Invictors, the Lion Guard, the Graven Fists, the Lances of Peritos, Blades Eternal, Brothers of the Anvil, Sigillites, Verdidian Consuls, Altar Brethren, Vengeance Chapter, Sentinels, Chorus of Eltane, the Tempest Legion, the Bronze Gorgons, Prophets of Mercury, Argent Hammers, Iron Drakes, the Illustrations, Doom Legion, Serpents of Light, Spears of Olympus, Clerics of Steel, Star Griffins, Fist of Ulchis, Justicators, Sanctors of Terror, Crusaders of Dawn, and Vorpal Swords. Now, as these chapters of the Abyssal Crusade entered the Eye of Terror, disaster struck them straight away. The Space Marines were set upon by a Chaos fleet and they were scattered. Now, the following account is only from a couple of chapters that we managed to get information from, but most of the chapters involved in the Abyssal Crusade, which we'll go through at the end of the video, were either turned to chaos or completely wiped out. The accounts that we can follow come from the following chapters of the Iron Drakes, the Sentinels, the Knights Excelsior, the Brothers of the Anvil, and the Vorpal Swords. So let's start with the Iron Drakes. So this chapter is one of many that eventually fell towards chaos. The Iron Drakes chapter landed on the world of Anthrax, which was ridden with living vegetation, but that vegetation was living on Nurgle's plague. They encountered plague marines on the world and the chapter was nearly wiped out. Those surviving members who did not die to the plague marines fell towards chaos and became the Grey Death Chaos Space Marines. The Sentinels were another chapter that fell towards chaos. They landed on the world of Linnaeus and discovered very quickly that it was a demon world. They were ambushed by a force of noise marines, but the planet itself was a morbidly obese man and swallowed up the chapter. After time, it spat them back out into reality, and they had been corrupted into a cannibalistic Slanesh warband known as the Corpus Brethren. The chapter known as the Knights Excelsior fought with great determination and honour on the world of Temporia against hordes of demon engines. After suffering great losses, they managed to escape back to their ships. The warsmith of the planet, named Valrak, created a demon and set it loose upon the Knights' fleet. The machine spirit of the fleet rebelled and their retreat was thwarted. The Knights were overrun by pursuing demon engines. Less than a year later, the chapter was seen again, but not as the loyalists they once were known. The renegade magma hounds emerged. The Brothers of the Anvil met a different fate within the Eye of Terror. They landed on the world of Belial IV and sought to destroy their heretical cousins. What they found was an ancient city of the Eldar Empire. They were captured soon after by Dark Eldar raiders who were scouring the planet for lost technology. They were taken to the Komarov, tortured and thrown in the gladiatorial arenas for entertainment. Eventually, those who still drew breath managed to escape the Dark City, but fate was not kind to them. They were driven insane by what they had witnessed, and slaughtered all those they came across. The other chapters that fell to chaos are as follows. The Lectors of Ixius became the Oracles of Change. The Knights of Excelsior, of course, became the Magma Hounds. The Invictors became the Unhallowed. The Lion Guard became the Death Shadows. The Graven Fists became the Twisted Blades. The Lances of Peritos became the Lords of Decay. The Brothers of the Anvil became the Deathmongers. The Sigillites became the Malefactors. The Verdidian Consuls became the Broken. The Altar Brethren became the Iconoclasts. The Vengeance Chapter became the Flylords. The Sentinels became the Corpus Brethren. The Tempest Legion became the Revelation of Gore. The Argent Hammers became the Talons of Anathrax. The Iron Drakes became the Grey Death. The Doom Legion became the Vectors of Pox. The Serpents of Light became the Predator Legion. The Spears of Olympus became the Bloodlords. The Clerics of Steel became the Innovocators. The Star Griffins became Sons of Midnight. The Justicators became the Fractured. The Sanctors of Terror became the Blighted Claw. The Crusaders of Dawn became the Brotherhood of Lithiath. The Crusades' fate was kept hidden from the Great Imperium, and the Administratum denied any link to it. Chaos Space Marine raids increased afterwards, empowered by those new chapters who had fallen. All that is known is that 800 years after the Crusade began, those who remained loyal to the throne returned from the warp, with their purity and sanity intact. One of those chapters to return was the Vorpal Swords, led by Chapter Master Konvak Lan. He now saw what the Crusade truly was, a devious trap laid by those influenced by chaos. He and those who followed him set their sights on the legacy of Basilius, who had now been long deceased but still worshipped as a saint. Chapter Master Konvak Lan declared the saint as false and an apostle of chaos. In less than a year, every known shrine to the false saint was destroyed and his followers massacred. The saint's bones and relics were then placed in a derelict freighter and launched directly into a nearby star. That was a short lore summary of the Abyssal Crusade. To find out more, you can read it in the 6th edition rulebook and also the Chaos Space Marine 6th edition rulebook. I want to say thank you for coming, thank you for watching this video. If you've got any recommendations about certain crusades, about big Space Marine battles you'd like me to cover, then please post it below and I'll do my best to try and cover them. The next one I'm trying to do is the Badab War, then after that I'm going to be doing the Isfan stuff, and then we'll probably maybe look at some of the Primera stuff which is happening round about now. But once again, thank you for coming, thank you for watching, leave your thoughts, feedback down below, and we'll have a nice little talk down there as we always do. See you now, have a great day, and bye bye.